All right, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back. So, I am sorry. I'm sorry, but life has been lifing. But just because life has been lifing doesn't mean that doesn't mean, sorry, that doesn't mean that I've forgotten about y'all and that I've forgotten about this story time because we have to watch this. We have to get into it. But before we get into it, we have to get into all of the red flags that have happened up until this point. So that way we just have a little bit of an understanding. We need to do a little bit of a recap. So our storyteller, hold on, Miss Brittini here. Oh wow. It is doing me dirty. Hold on, y'all. What even is this? Interesting. Very interesting because I cannot even see that page on my computer. Oh wow. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. I need an intermission. All right. Okay. So, anywho, so our storyteller, Miss Brittini here, she is currently married to a lady that is trying to become a man, but has been lying the entire time about trying to become a man. Beyond that, there have been beyond Six Flags. We are beyond at Six Flags, the amusement park. We are at Cedar Point with how many red flags? So let's just get into the red flags that I took note of. Now, there may have been more that I missed. It's quite possible, but let's just talk about the ones that I did catch. So, red flag number one, the storyteller just got out of a relationship and is vulnerable. That is one huge one to pay attention to. Try to avoid dating right when you get out of a relationship. If you want to have fun and you're able to do that, do that. But if you can't and you're more like me, I'm the type of person that catches feelings for people. It's not a good idea for me. I've done it before. It's never worked out for me. So, not something that I would necessarily suggest. But beyond that, I will say that that was red flag number one for me. That the storyteller is vulnerable. And right when you get out of a relationship, that's one of the most vulnerable places that you can be. Future faking and beginning from the beginning, they're talking about marriage and having kids together. The storyteller's partner is always the victim in every relationship that she's been in. The first time that they met, the vibes were off, and the 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 partner, Melissa, kept throwing their amount of experience into the conversation as though the storyteller did not have enough experience to know what real love would feel like or whether or not they're catching a vibe, which I find interesting. When people little girl you like that, they're usually trying to be quite manipulative. Married more than once. Once was for insurance purposes, which does not make sense to me, because what insurance? What insurance would require you to need to marry somebody? It just doesn't make sense. And you've been married more than once. It just seems like marriage is a joke. Marriage is just something that you do willy-nilly to me. They got their names tatted based off a side video that she made. Sorry, y'all. A side video that she made explaining how they ended up going and getting their names tatted on each other. But Melissa did not get her name tatted. She got her initials or something like that tatted. So it wasn't the same as it was for the storyteller. Melissa kept encouraging the storyteller to make life-altering decisions very early on, such as tattoos, talking about marriage, kids, all of these things. And these are all from part 1 alone. We haven't even gotten to like any of the other parts, and at this point we're at part 6. So they're not getting along, and they're arguing as soon as they move in together. Proposing early on and in front of people that the storyteller does not know. Melissa's mutual friends, not the storyteller's mutual friends. So that's putting somebody in a compromising position to where you're forcing them to say yes, basically. Because if they don't, they're going to feel like they're embarrassing you. They're going to feel like the odd man out. It's going to be uncomfortable. And beyond that, this woman moved here. So who does she have, and where's she going to go? So I call that, the storyteller Brit is paying for everything, which I don't like at all. When you're the feminine party in the relationship, you should not be paying for everything. I'm not going to say you shouldn't pay for anything, right? But I'm not going to say that you should be paying for everything. Triangulation. I don't like that. Jumping from one marriage to the next. Melissa wants her to quit her job knowing that she does not have the means to support the two of them. And now they live together, but the storyteller does have a girlfriend. That's how deep we've gotten into it at this point. So it's only going to get messier. Mind you, the last part we watched did describe that the storyteller's, so now ex-wife, or soon-to-be ex-wife, has met the girlfriend's soon-to-be ex-wife. So they're both in the same situation, and now these people know each other. So let's get back into the mess.
Welcome to part 6 of Who the Did I Marry? I left off with Melissa moving out. At this point, I think things are gonna improve because she always talked so highly about being these great, amazing co-parents. I mean, in my head, I'm like, maybe she's a shitty person, but I do think she's a good parent. That's what I thought, and that does change. The first thing that happens is we're in litigation and we're asking for all this documentation from her and her lawyer, and they are dragging. I'm talking 3, 6, 8 weeks, just simple stuff. And they're just not answering. And she's also not helpful. If I go to her and say, hey, can you contact your lawyer? Let's get this done. Let's get this signed. Let's be divorced. Let's have everything squared away. I'm not trying to drag this out. This costs money. And me and you both know that she likes to waste my money. So honestly, looking back, is it that shocking? Not really. Anywho, around the October-November time frame, I started getting these messages from her saying, I'm just having a really tough time, and maybe you and your partner can just keep him. Or, hey, would you guys be willing to move to California if I got a job? She was playing this oh, I'm really cool with the fact that you and Ashley are dating, and I want us to all be this big happy family. And honestly, it was just like more alarming than anything, because it's like, if you can't take care of them, like, I will absolutely, by all means, take care of them. Early December, she started sending messages, because at this point, my lawyer has finally let her know, like, hey, there's a lot of money that Brittini is owed, and I think Melissa thought that she was going to be able to get something from me, but like, that wasn't the case. So she came to me and she was like, if you do this to me, like, if you go after this, then I'm not going to have anything and I'm going to really be struggling. So if you could just like get off of it, because if not, like, I'm going to have to let you keep our son for this duration of time, and like, I'll come back for him. Now, that is not the way it works with kids. You don't just get to go away and then come back when it's convenient for you. Being a parent is doing that shit through the good times and the bad.
Y'all, my bad. I'm so sorry. I'm over here trying to...
This. Welcome to part 6 of Who the Did I Marry? She likes to waste my money. So early December, I'm like, cool, whatever gets this done. If around the October, November, us to all be this like, and honestly, it was just like more alarming than anything, because it's like, if you can't take care of them, like, I will absolutely, by all means, take care of them. Early December, she started sending messages, because at this point, my lawyer has finally let her know, like, hey, there's a lot of money that Brittini is owed, and I think Melissa thought that she was going to be able to get something from me, but like, that wasn't the case. So she came to me and she was like, if you do this to me, like, if you go after this, then I'm not going to have anything and I'm going to really be struggling. So if you could just like get off of it, because
Mind you, she's the one, she wanted to do an easy divorce. And this lady over here acted as though she was going to like throw her weight around or do something extra just to turn around and be begging, oh, please don't do this. It's going to financially ruin me. Why did you even do this all to begin with? You tried to do a power play, you lost, and now you want to sit over here and like beg and act like you're a victim again, like you seem to always do. Like, girl,
if not, like, I'm going to have to let you keep our son for this duration of time, and like, I'll come back for him. Now, that is not the way it works with kids. You don't just get to go away and then come back when it's convenient for you. Being a parent is doing that shit through the good times and the bad, not just when it's convenient. But me being stupid, I'm like, cool, whatever gets this done. If getting them little coins from you is going to cause you all this, whatever, like, I don't really care, if we're being honest. Sign the papers, leave me alone. You know what time it is, my interactive board. At this point now, in mid-December, I find out that Melissa is dating a girl named Taurus, okay? I find out about Taurus through social media, and it was 2 particular things that stood out. One of the things is they were in the tattoo shop, and Melissa was getting Taurus's name, and Taurus was getting Melissa's name. Sounds familiar. Then there was a particular video where Taurus was calling Melissa her credit card. Now, mind you, me and Melissa just had this conversation about how she was like struggling so much and needed all of this help, and for me to back off and all this stuff, right? So it's like, okay, I see now that was, you just trying to play me per usual. So I send Melissa a message and I'm like, listen, bro, like, you clearly ain't got no money issues. You clearly got everything going right. So sign the papers. You got a girlfriend, and sign the papers. Like, why are you still trying to do this back and forth with me? Like, cause it's just not necessary. So January comes and I start noticing that my son was having like some transition issues, and then also that he was using mommy out of context. And like I said, I'm pretty good about noticing something and saying something. So I went to Melissa and I was like, hey, like, I know you have a girlfriend. I know my son is probably around her. So a couple of things. First off, can I meet her? Because I think as a mom, everybody wants to meet the person that's around their child, just so everybody's on the same page. I also asked, hey, like, what is our son calling her? And they proceeded to tell me that they call her a nickname. And I do want to say, prior to any of this, I continuously would ask Melissa if Taurus was living over there. She was like, nah, she not living here. If I have any house changes, I'll let you know. And I'm like, okay. Now, mind you, we knew something was up, me and my girlfriend, because my son, normally, like, his nails won't be cut, his ears won't be clean, his hair would just be like whatever. He comes to the house one day, bro. Hair braided to the back, ears squeaky clean, nails cut. I'm like, oops, somebody cooked in here. So I'm not mad at it. But once again, I go to them and say, hey, like, I think that it's beneficial for me to meet your partner. Now, mind you, she's met Ashley multiple.
You know, I gotta read these messages. LMFAO, and what you choose to do after me will not be my business. LOL. Shit is our business. If anybody is going to be around my son, they gotta be vetted fully. Gotta have like a year dating or something before we get them close to our children, period. Well, yeah, it wouldn't be anything immaculate like, oh yeah, we're together, you can meet my son. Hell no. I don't know.
She's met Ashley multiple.
I wouldn't bring blank around anybody you don't meet. Let me know when you feel it's a good time to meet her with no animosity. I wasn't arguing the rule. I wanted a time frame. 60 days, 90 days. She said, I don't care to meet her. I trust her. I trust you. I'm not fighting you on anything anymore. Only thing I care about is the joint situation. Time frame doesn't matter. I want the same respect, so let's set a rule that way. Whatever works is totally fine.
Multiple times, and not to mention, also tried to fight her one time.
Gotta stop. Ain't nobody fighting you over a woman that's already mine. Ain't anything that needs to be addressed, by the way. Us can be handled.
We won't get into that.
Conversation. We're adults. We're adults with careers and 401ks, so hopefully you can leave all that extra tough guy shit at the door next time. Respect my lady, the mother of your child, and I'll respect you. End of discussion. I know you feel she disrespects you at times. That's gotta stop too. You can address that with me if you can't get through to her respectfully.
Also tried to fight her one time, but we won't get into that. Or maybe I will, but we'll see. Now, on the back end, I also noticed on like pickups and drop-offs or parent-teacher conferences that Melissa was starting to look very non-girl. Was starting to just like, the voice was deep. Like, I noticed like some little chicken scratch on their face, and I was like, oh, okay, like something going on. So I asked, hey, I don't want to be offensive, but like, are you transitioning? And they would always tell me no. I'd ask this question probably every other week because I knew, I'm not stupid. Like, I see it. Like, it's dead ass in my face. Like, why would you just lie blatantly like that? Not to mention would constantly be like, oh, our son accidentally called me daddy today. LOL, LOL, LOL. And I'm like, okay, well, correct it. And I would ask them again, like, are you changing your pronouns? Like, are you letting him call you that? Are you correcting him? So on and so forth, because it seems really odd because we don't have that problem over here. So early or like mid-February, Melissa comes to me and says, my pronouns are now he and him, so respect that, so on and so forth. So I'm like, okay, good for you. Are you going to change your name or what my son calls you? Because we had a specific name that he called her. Nope, everything's the same. I'll let you know if there's any changes. Don't worry about it. It's just he, him at this point. Okay. So I go pick up my son after spring break. So you're talking like 12 days later, maybe. And I pick him up and he says, bye, daddy. Like, because at this point, Melissa is still outside putting him in a car. So my son was like, bye, daddy. And I was like, no. Like, I corrected him with the name that that he had normally been called. Listen, I am in no way, shape, or form a judgmental individual, but I feel like if that's something that you're going to do, you discuss it with the person that you're co-parenting with. It is a really odd situation to say that within 2 weeks, you've gone from a term that my son has known forever to daddy, like specifically daddy. It just felt odd to me, but maybe I'm tripping. I don't know. At this point, they still won't sign the papers. They're now he, him, still no name change, so they're Melissa to me. And around the just bunches of issues, at this point, I know Taurus lives there, so on and so forth. Won't let me meet her, same old, same old. Around the May time frame, they finally tell me that their name is going to be Melvin. And then they also proceed to show me photos of their top surgery. So they were already getting their gender affirming surgeries, which interesting enough, the gender affirming surgery happened between the 12 days and my son calling them daddy. So very fast transition, if you will. So I want to bring my board back out so we can understand. At this point, Melissa is now Melvin, he, him pronouns, and their girlfriend is Taurus. It's around the July 2024 timeframe, and they still won't sign the papers. They still keep dragging things out. And I keep asking God, like, bro, like, why won't you just let this hoe sign the papers? Well, I'll tell you why. Because Taurus, Melvin's girlfriend, ends up calling me. Welcome to part 6 of Who the Did I Marry? I left off with Melissa moving out. At this point, I think things are gonna improve because she always talked so highly about being like these great, amazing co-parents. I mean, in my head, I'm like, maybe she's a shitty person, but I do think she's a good parent. That's what I thought, and that does change. Welcome to part 7 of Who Did I Marry? Tired edition. Okay, we left off with Taurus calling me. I want to bring up the board for a second. For clarification, Melissa is now Melvin. Melvin dates Taurus, and now Taurus is calling me. Okay? So at this point, I said call, but she DM'd me on TikTok. Okay, so she DMs me and she goes, I just want to apologize because I was around your son and I should have done more to try and meet you. And, you know, every time I tried to meet you, like I even tried to Zoom call you, they would tell me that you were going to find me and beat me up and throw acid in my face and try and kill me and all this stuff. Like, was basically scaring Taurus. Melvin was scaring Taurus so that Taurus would never come to me. Because Melvin knows that I am Melvin's worst fear. I am the truth. I am willing to expose Melvin. So Melvin painted this picture for Taurus so that Taurus would stay away from me. But Taurus didn't, and she came to me after her and Melvin broke up, because when you start piecing all this shit together, you realize that Melvin is a fucking liar. We continue to DM, and Taurus tells me how she seen my Twitter. So prior to these TikToks, I would subliminally tweet about my situation to just kind of give like a pre-warning to people, like, hey, be careful. And I had tweeted something about being the third wife. I tweeted something about this person scamming me. And Taurus told me that she actually saw those tweets and started doing her own research. And Melvin had never told Taurus that he had been married. Taurus knew that me and Melvin had been married, but had no idea about the other 2 wives that he was married to. At this point, we're talking back and forth, and she basically was like, oh, you know, I did want to really give you a warning. And the warning is that Melvin, Caroline, and Kathy have been stalking you for over a year. She, with receipts, by the way. Taurus is not just telling me this stuff and not giving receipts. When I tell you she was getting down with the receipts, she was getting down with the receipts. Kathy, Caroline, and Melvin were swapping pictures of our children. They were talking about our whereabouts, where we are, what our schedules are. Oh, how can we make this difficult? If we change this schedule, then Ashley and Brittany won't be able to do this at the same time. Like, they were doing this for over a year. And it made me realize that this duration of my super long divorce was not just purely based out of like this one person being stupid. This is a group of people. This is a group of people. I realized in this conversation with Taurus that I don't know Melvin. And imagine being in a relationship with somebody and not knowing them, but imagine having a kid with somebody and not knowing who they are. Throughout this whole entire situation, that is the time frame that I was like, this is not a fucking game anymore. And these people are dangerous. They're dangerous people. I could go days for what Taurus told me, but I'm gonna stick to the script, right? After talking for a few days in TikTok, I think we were just building that trust. We exchanged numbers. And this is where the part of the story gets like really hard for me. Earlier in the story, I told you all that my son, there were time frames where I noticed that he was having transitional issues, and I would oftentimes go to Melvin and say, hey, son's not sleeping good. Like, what's the routine over there? Are you having these issues? Because like I am sort of a hoverer as a mom, but I'm very specific about making sure that he's okay. And I asked, hey, does he have a bed? Yes, he has a bed. Does he have a room? Yes, he has a room. Does he have this? Yes, he has this. He has that. He has this. Making it seem like it's perfect over there. So I'm like, cool. I only need to just address what I have going on here. Taurus also lets me know that on the very first day that she ever met my son, Melvin made my son call her mommy. So from day one, my son never knew her name. She was mommy. Something told me to ask Taurus a question. And I said, hey, you were around my son. I want you to tell me a little bit about what that was. And, does my son have a room? Does my son have a bed? What's the situation over there? And she said, I was hoping you didn't ask me that. As a parent, I would sleep on the cold, hard floor if that meant that my child got somewhere to sleep. I would eat nothing if it meant that my child got to eat. The stuff that Taurus told me and the pictures that she showed me broke me. It broke me. Because I had trusted Melvin to be at least a good parent. I don't give a shit about how you treat me. But how you treat my child, I will never, ever forgive Melvin for that. Ever. She also told me about how on my son's birthday that Melvin couldn't even be bothered to get my child a gift. Couldn't even be bothered to get my child a cake. And when Taurus second guessed him on it, he iced her out all day, ignored her, forgetting, because she went and got him a gift. She went and got him a cake. She made sure his nails was clipped. She made sure that his hair was done. Taurus was taking care of my kid. And she knows that I am forever thankful, because at least I knew then that he was being taken care of. Taurus also lets me know that Melvin doesn't just have one job now. He has two, because he has to afford his lawyer and he has to afford his gender affirming surgeries. So the time frames that Melvin did have my son, he was gone. He was working his job to pay for, to be a man. So after this, I called my lawyer. And funny enough, my lawyer goes, oh, hey, I was just about to call you because Melvin is ready to sign. Whole year. And all of a sudden, Melvin's ready to sign, right? Because Melvin knew, right? Melvin knew that Taurus had called me at this point, right? So I tell my lawyer, no, I'm not signing. I'm taking them to court. She was like, what's going on? I sent her everything. I told her everything. She looked at the documents and the pictures I sent her and she said, okay, we're going to court. I said, yes, we are. She said, if you could get Taurus to testify, your case will be very strong. And I said, okay. So I called Taurus and I said, listen, you've already given me more information and done more for me than I could ever ask. Will you be willing to testify with me in court? Taurus said, yeah. So I get off the phone with Taurus and I call my lawyer. I let my lawyer know she's willing. My lawyer said, all right, I'm gonna send this message to Melvin's lawyer. Melvin's lawyer immediately calls my lawyer and says, what's going on? Like, why are y'all going to court? Because, you know, in his head, he's like, I'm just a lawyer and I'm just trying to get this paperwork signed. So to me, it sounds like he knows it was being dragged out. So the simple fact that now I'm ready to go to court, the lawyer's confused. So Melvin's lawyer is confused. Shocker. And my lawyer tells him, you know, this is what happened. And I'll put it this way. Melvin came to court with no lawyer.
Lawyer said, you ain't about to get me in no stuff like this. I can't win this case. This is child neglect and abuse. And you over here spitting it to me like you a decent person. And you ain't nothing. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Y'all, your girl is tired. It's late. I'm gonna get back at y'all. We gonna continue on this story. But it's time for me to take my butt to bed. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. And I'm gonna see y'all soon.